2 weeks of constant travel, multiple countries, airports, hotel rooms, crowded cafes, and at one point I even ended up near a conflict zone. Not exactly the controlled environment I normally review phones in, but through every situation, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra stayed in my pocket. Long flights, stressful moments, everyday use. After living with it in the real world, I've got some clear thoughts about what Samsung nailed, what feels questionable, and whether this upgrade actually makes sense. Looking at the spec sheet alone, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra might seem like one of the smallest upgrades Samsung has ever released. Nothing about it screams dramatic change, but daily use tells a slightly different story. Some updates don't jump out immediately, yet they slowly reshape how the phone feels throughout the day. Subtle changes, small decisions, things that only become noticeable after real use. The first thing you notice is the design. Samsung moved away from the sharp, boxy shape of the previous Ultras and introduced a more rounded form. At first glance, it feels like a minor tweak, but in the hand, it's immediately more comfortable. I've always liked the aggressive look of the older design, but after a few days, this softer approach started to feel surprisingly natural. Samsung didn't stop with the curves. The phone is also thinner and lighter, which makes extended use noticeably easier. But there's one small design detail that stands out: the S Pen orientation. There's only one correct way to insert it. Slide it in the wrong direction and it instantly looks off. And yes, the stylus still doesn't bring back Bluetooth features. It functions purely as a traditional stylus. That likely confirms Samsung has moved on from Bluetooth S Pen functionality for now. Even so, the idea of a built-in stylus is becoming rare in modern flagships. In 2026, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra still stands alone in that regard. If stylus functionality matters to you, the Ultra lineup remains in a category few devices even attempt to compete in. The display, however, is where the most interesting change appears. On the surface, it's another excellent Samsung panel, but there's one feature that genuinely affects real-world usage. Because I travel frequently, I'm constantly using my phone in public spaces, like airplanes. Normally, I'd never attach a privacy screen, but this display quietly builds that protection directly into the device itself. Enable the privacy mode and suddenly side angles become nearly impossible to read. People sitting next to you simply can't see what's on your screen. The feature works surprisingly well, and Samsung allows a lot of customization. You can activate it only for specific apps, adjust how strong the effect is, and control when it activates. It's subtle, but incredibly practical once you start relying on it. Of course, there's a small compromise. With privacy mode active, brightness drops slightly, but comparing it next to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, the difference from angled viewing positions isn't dramatic. There's also been debate about Samsung switching to an 8-bit panel instead of 10-bit, yet during daily use, videos, gaming, general media, it never felt like a downgrade. I also found a clever way to control that privacy display instantly. That's thanks to a case from Pitaka. Their case for the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra includes programmable buttons built directly into the frame. You can assign them to launch apps or trigger specific actions. I set mine to toggle the privacy display, which means one quick press changes everything. For most people considering an Ultra device, the camera is the main reason. Interestingly, the hardware itself hasn't changed dramatically this year, but Samsung introduced a few upgrades that still make a difference. The biggest one is a new 24-megapixel photo mode. Once enabled, images appear noticeably sharper and cleaner compared to the older default processing. The strange part is that it isn't turned on by default. You actually have to activate it through the camera assistant settings. Once enabled though, the ultra-wide, main camera, and even the 5x lens capture at 24 megapixels. Portrait mode still sits at 12 megapixels for now, which hopefully changes in a future update. The overall color science shifts slightly toward more natural tones. Zoom remains strong even without a larger sensor this year. Shots stay usable all the way up to around 30 times, and if you really want to push it, the phone still reaches 100 times. But the real surprise is video performance. The Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra now manages noise extremely well, sometimes even cleaner than footage from the Apple iPhone when zooming deeply into scenes. Samsung also packed the camera with serious video tools. You can record in log, capture using the APV codec, and apply multiple LUTs directly inside the gallery. There's even 8K recording at 30 FPS with massive detail, although file sizes quickly become enormous. Add Samsung's Horizon Lock stabilization that keeps footage perfectly level, and suddenly the phone feels far more capable for video creators. Still, a few things could be better. The 3x zoom camera doesn't feel particularly useful, especially since it drops to a 12-megapixel sensor. The front camera is fine, but at this point it really deserves a higher resolution upgrade. On the other hand, the microphones impressed me. Audio recordings were so clear that some people assumed my other phone had microphone issues. Performance is exactly what you'd expect from a flagship. The Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 powers everything, delivering extremely fast rendering speeds. In testing, it even managed to outperform the Apple iPhone in certain tasks while maintaining excellent RAM management. Gaming, multitasking, heavy apps, it all runs smoothly, and future updates should only improve optimization further. On the software side, the phone runs Android 16 with One UI 8.5. AI features play a major role here. Photo editing tools can now generate edits from simple text prompts, removing objects, transforming scenes, or even converting a daytime photo into a convincing night image. None of it feels revolutionary alone, but together they create a polished experience. Battery life remains one of the more debated areas. Samsung kept the same battery capacity again this year. Charging improves slightly, with 60-watt speeds pushing the phone to about 75% in roughly 30 minutes. In real-world use, it reliably lasts close to a full day. Not the longest endurance available, but still dependable for typical daily use. So after 2 weeks, where does that leave the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra? If you're already using the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, the changes probably aren't enough to justify upgrading right away. But if you're coming from the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra or an older device, the new design, privacy display, and improved video features start to make the decision more interesting. Ultimately, this phone isn't about huge specification leaps. Instead, it refines the everyday experience in subtle ways. And while the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra still stands as an incredibly capable device, arguably the last Ultra with features like Bluetooth S Pen support, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra pushes the lineup forward with thoughtful improvements. The real question is simple: do those changes matter enough for you?